Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine with Behind the Markets. Happy Monday. Today is Monday, March 10th. And in 2017, the U.S. military began running highly classified war games that simulated a potential conflict with China. Dozens of simulations were run, but no matter how many times we ran those war games, the result was always the same. We lost. And we didn't just lose, we lost very quickly. The vice chairman at the time of the Joint Chiefs of Staff said, quote, "It was like they knew exactly what we were going to do before we did it." This is during the Trump 1 administration, okay? This is when Jim Mattis, the U.S. Secretary of Defense for Trump 1, was running things. He wanted to see how close China had become to being a near-peer competitor of the United States. And what he found really astonished us. And it really changed how the U.S. fights wars. A couple of things came from those war game simulations. Number one, we decided to add software and AI to our warfare, create more networked warfare, because we found that we couldn't fight wars like we did in the 20th century, where we would have, let's say, a bunch of tanks or a bunch of ships, in the case of China, all massed together and start firing missiles onto the mainland because they'd be able to just take them out. So what we decided to do is add software and AI so we can increase the speed of our kill chain and move things around in a networked way, networked warfare, which is where this is going. That's what really drove the beginning of that and gave us very big winners like Palantir, C3.AI, and other things. The other thing that we discovered in running these war game scenarios is just how vulnerable the West Coast of America was. Actually, the whole continent of the United States, but in particular the West Coast. Because in all these war game scenarios, it takes days. As we start hitting the Chinese mainland, they have the capacity to strike us in California, Alaska, up and down the West Coast, basically. They try to take out our naval bases in San Diego, all the way up LA, San Francisco, etc., up and down our coast, which would be devastating. Jokes about losing the left coast aside, it would be absolutely devastating. So that brought a rise for people like me to really push people we know to create an Iron Dome for America. Because what I discovered in reading all this was that the U.S. was woefully unprepared. We had not invested in protecting the American homeland in decades, basically since the fall of the Soviet Union. We did have some missile batteries, some Patriot batteries in Alaska and in a couple places on the West. But basically, those were built and they could only handle the capacity of an North Korean missile. One missile here, one missile there. But the world's changed in the past 20, 30 years. Completely changed, very dramatically. Now we have an antagonistic country right across the Pacific that has the power, capacity, and economy and military to really strike at our homeland. So it is high time that we figure out how to defend our homeland from this so we can actually get strategic advantage back. Where we say to them, again, the idea here is not to start a war. The idea is to dissuade them from engaging in conflict with us. And to do that, I've been waiting for the last two presidents, basically, to say we're going to build an Iron Dome style defense shield for America. I've been waiting for years. But finally, in his second term, Trump is doing it. He has instructed his defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, to come to him with a plan for the Iron Dome. Now, this is expected to cost $2.5 trillion. This is going to be a boon for defense contractors. So it's one of those things that's good for America, completely necessary for America. And what is necessary is never unwise. So it is necessary and good for America and could be very good for investors too. This is one of those scenarios where it could be complete win. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking on Wednesday at 1 o'clock exactly about this Iron Dome, what it means for U.S. national defense, what it means for defense companies. It's going to be a windfall for companies that are really positioned well here, and what it means to investors and how we as investors can take advantage of it. Because we're not stupid. The Pentagon is going to hand this win to some smart investors on a silver platter. And why would we not be in line? If we're forward thinking, why wouldn't we want a piece of that? So I am excited that we do this. I love these things. I used to hate webinars. I've come to love them because it gives us a great little opportunity to take you behind the scenes in our thinking about some of these very big issues. And you guys know me, defense, national security is my thing. So I am particularly excited about this one. And I hope you join us. Have a wonderful Monday.